Right. So when it comes to drawing ray diagrams with the concave mirrors, right? What kind of an image will be formed? You should know these four very well. What are the four? If the light ray is traveling through the principal axis, it's going to bounce back perpendicular. And the next one is again the concave mirror. If the light ray comes parallel to the principal axis, this is what we call as the principal axis, right? So if the light ray is going to come parallel to the principal axis, it's going to go through the focal point, right? So the same way, the inverse of it. What does the inverse mean? If the light ray comes through the focal point, then it's going to bounce back parallel to the principal axis. The midline is what we call as the principal axis, Tuputta, right? So these two are inverse actually. Like parallel will go through the focal. If comes through the focal, it will go parallel. And the last one is center of curvature. If a light ray comes through the center of curvature, it is also going to bounce back on its own path, like reflected back on itself. So that's again going to be perpendicular. Now, before we go into ray diagram, let's watch this a little bit. See if you can understand this. Okay.
So guys, the first case, the object is placed between the pole of the mirror and the focus. In this situation, we know that the image is going to be formed behind the mirror. It will be virtual, erect, and it will not be obtained on the screen. So even if I move the screen backward and forward, the image is not obtained on the screen.
So what does that mean, Putta? This is the typical example of we looking ourselves through a makeup mirror or something like that. Understood? So we will hold the mirror very close to us and our image will be enlarged in it, right? So let me show that to you. Can you see here? This is how it will look like.
On taking a closer look, you can see the image is behind the mirror and the image is actually bigger than the object. You can see the size of the candle being enlarged over there.
Can you see, Shafka? Right. So we can draw a ray diagram for this, right? How is it obtaining? You can actually prove that the image that you're going to get is going to be formed inside the mirror, okay? And also it's going to be larger than the object. How will you prove it? Through a ray diagram. So let's see how we can draw a ray diagram for that. What is this, Buddha? This is the principal axis. Do you agree?
Yes.
Okay, now on the principal axis, I'm going to, first of all, I should know the focal length and this one, no? So let me measure them correctly and take it. Maybe I'll mark it here, okay? F and here is the C. So what is it? Where am I going to place the object to get a larger image, Shafka? Where should I place it? I should place it. This is the pole, no? Between the pole and the focal. Do you agree to that?
Yes.
Okay, so this is your face or this is the object. Okay, right. Okay, now you tell me, Puta. I'll draw two ray. You need at least two rays to have an intersection. And to, what do we tell? To have an intersection so that you can pinpoint the image. No? You need එක රේකකින් පුතා. With one ray you can't get an image. You need at least two rays. Do you understand that? එතකොටනේ පුතා intersection එකක් වෙන්නේ. Right? Then only you can pinpoint the image. Okay? So let's imagine that there's a ray that comes through the C. What is the rule for C? That comes through the curvature. If there's a ray that goes through the curvature, center of curvature, it's going to bounce back on its own, no? Do you agree to that? Bounce back in its same path. Agreed?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to elongate this line because image will be formed on that side. So we need to have this line. The principal axis එක පුතා මම ටිකක් දික් කළා. එච්චරයි මං කළේ ආ. Right. Okay, now any ray that goes through the center of curvature will be perpendicular. So let me draw that. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to draw it with the head of this object, right? Something like this, Puta. Can you see? Can I draw it like this? It's going through the center of curvature, touching the head part of the object. Make sense? Shafka?
Yes.
Okay. So, why have I drawn it this side? Why have we drawn it this side? So, this one should actually be in, this is inside the mirror, no? This should be actually with the dotted lines, huh? So, what I'm doing, a light ray comes through the sea and bounces back on its self. Comes and bounces back. Adhe ray, the same ray I have elongated behind to pinpoint the image. Do you understand that, Puta?
Yeah. So the image is not gonna show for the like the other side, the white paper they kept.
Yeah, it won't be shown on the white paper. It will only be it could only be seen through a white paper or taken to a screen if the image that you get is going to be a real image. But here you're going to get what image with a virtual image. So the mirror உள்ளுக்கு தான் இருக்கும். Okay, so let's complete this diagram, put a ray diagram up, then you will clearly understand. So which one am I going to use now? Now I will let me take another light ray that is going to go through the that is going to be parallel to the what do we tell principal axis. Okay, now I'm going to draw a parallel light ray that is going to come nicely like this to the head of the this one. Can I do this like this, Puta? What is going to happen to this light ray? இப்படி ஒரு light ray வந்துட்டு ஷஃப்கா parallel வந்திருக்குது. There's a light ray parallel to the principal axis. What is the fate of this light ray now? How will it go now?
From the focal.
Exactly. So it's supposed to go through the focal like this. No? Right. So let me draw that in red. Going to bounce back through the F. Came in and went through F. Now I can elongate this. Can you see? I can extend this light ray behind. Can I?
Yes.
Okay, so let's do that. So because it's behind the what? mirror, I can't draw real lines. No, I have to always make sure that it should be in dotted lines. So can you see the point where two light rays are intersecting?
Yeah.
So that is going to be your what, Puta? That is going to be the image. That is the one that is going to be the image. Does this make sense, Puta?
Yes.
Right. So let me draw the image in blue. So what has happened, Puta? Can you see? What has happened? The image is larger. No? So let's write it here. This is the object. This is the image. What has happened to the image, Puta? The image is larger, virtual. Why virtual? Because it's inside the mirror. Upright. Do you agree that it is upright? Turn වෙලා යටිකුරු වෙලා නැනේ පුතා.
Mm.
It's larger, virtual and upright image එකක් you will be observing if you place your face near to the concave mirror. So this is exactly what makeup mirrors dentists use. Understood?
Yes.
Right, okay. So this is the first one. Now, this is where did I place the object, Puta? Uh, between the pole and the focal point. Now, the next one is if you place the object in F, what's going to happen? Right? What's going to happen? The position of the image will be at infinity. Nature of the image will be real and inverted. Size of the image will be highly magnified. ඒක කොහොමද පුතා? ඒක කොහොමද? අපි අඳලම බලමු. Right? Okay, first of all, let's see how it will be observed. He is going to keep the object on F. It's F.
Now since the image will be formed at infinity, so even if I try to move the screen forward and backwards, I will not be obtaining the image on the screen because the screen has to be very very far away from the pole of the mirror to obtain the image.
Okay, අපි ඒක බලමු කොහොමද පුතා? Ray diagram එකකින් අඳින්න කියලා. The first one is the object is in between the focal and the pole. Right? Now the object is on the focal itself. Okay, Puta. Right. Now if it is in the focal point itself, අපි ඉස්සෙල්ලාම අපිට දන්න දේ. හොඳටම අපි දන්න දේ ඒක අඳිමු. What is it? Any ray that this one. Any ray that goes through the sea will bounce back with a perpendicular angle. Right? So I will use the head and the C point. C is here. Right? So draw that, Puta. Keep the ruler and match this with this and elongate that line. Do it with me. Okay. So did you draw it like this? The ray comes and it
Yeah.
bounces back. Can you draw it behind with dotted lines also? Because we never know where it will, where the image will be formed. Okay. So it is dotted line. Okay. Now what is the other one that you know for sure? Any angle, any ray that comes perpendicular to the what do we tell, any light ray that comes comes parallel to the principal axis will go through the focal. අපි එතකොට දෙවෙනි එකත් අඳිමු with a blue light ray parallel. Now touching this F, right? It will go through the where පුතා? කොහොමද යන්නේ?
Focal.
focal එක හරහා ඔන්න ඔහොම යනවා. right? හරි. ඕකත් හරි. දැන් බලමු මෙයාව චුට්ටක් පිටිපස්සට ඇදලා බලමු. image එකක් form වෙනවද කියලා. What is happening පුතා? මේ lines දෙක parallel to each other. If they are going to be parallel to each other, where on earth will they meet and form an image? අපි එතකොට තව ray එකක් අඳිමුකෝ. What is it? We know that anything that goes what do we tell? Through the principal axis, right? Will also bounce back accordingly, perpendicular to the mirror. ඒකත් අඳිමු. තව light ray එකක් අඳිමු. right? Through the principal axis ඔන්න ඔහොම එකක් එනවා කියලා හිතමු. Understood පුතා what I'm trying to do here?
Yes.
Okay. ඒකත් ඇඳලා බලමු. It came and it bounced back. Right? Oh. Nothing is getting what? Intersected, no? Either they are moving very away from each other or they are going to go parallel with each other. මෙහෙම තියෙද්දි පුතා කොහොමද පුතා image එකක් form වෙන්නේ? Right? So you can understand that an image is being formed at the infinity. You can't actually get an image. You can't see an image if the object is at the focal point. Does that make sense, Puta?
Yes.
Okay, right. So this is the second scenario. This is the first one. Object is between the focal and the pole. The second one is object is on the focal. Right, let's go for the textbook. Here it is, object on the focal point. Now, if the object is between the center of curvature and the focal point. Now, you're going to move it away from the focal to the center. Can you see, Puta, what has happened? The image you're going to get for the first time, you're going to get an inverted, what do we tell? Not upright, inverted, and a larger image. This is like you place the mirror, the concave mirror further away from you. Something like that. But in between the focal and the center of curvature, you will see yourself upside down. Make sense? Your face will be upside down.
Yeah.
Did you understand, Puta?
Yes.
Right. අපි ඒකත් අඳිමුද? Shall we draw it and see?
Okay.
Before we draw, let's look at that video and come, okay? Let's see what kind of an image is observable there.
It should be beyond C, and the size of the image must be larger than the object.
We're seeing if it is getting captured on the screen. Can you see here, Puta, on the screen?
Yes.
What is happening to the flame? What has happened to the flame, Puta?
It's upside down.
It's upside down. It's upside down and it was?
When you move the screen and when you finally obtain the image on the screen, you should be careful that the image must be sharper. So the sharpest point would be considered as your image distance. You can move the screen forward and backward to check the sharpness. Wherever you get the sharpest image, that location would be your final image location.
Right? So it's more than, it's very beyond the principal axis, no? Okay, now let's draw the ray diagrams for let's draw the rays. Okay. ඉස්සලම C එක හරහා යන එකක් ඉක්මනටම අඳිමු. Okay. The next ray diagram would be පුතා. The ray would be through the parallel and how? Coming parallel and going through the focal. ඒක අඳිමු නේ. Right. So I wouldn't need this, no? Because I have an intersection on the where? I have an intersection on the right hand side of the figure itself, no? Does this make sense, Puta? So එතකොට මේ පාරේ
Yes.
yeah, image this time the image is going to be formed on the not inside the mirror but rather outside the mirror. So that's going to make the image what image, Puta? මොන image කියලාද අපි ඒකට කියන්නේ? You're going to get a real image. නේද?
Yes.
Images, let's draw it in blue. Did you understand this well, Puta?
Yes.
Right, okay. Then let's see the next one. When the object is at the center of curvature itself. Object is at the center of curvature itself. Right? So ඒක මං අඳින්නේ නැහැ. අපි කෙලින්ම මේක ටෙක්ස්ට් බුක් එකෙන්ම ඔලුවට දාගමු පුතා, right? Object on the center of curvature. Here you have the object, a light ray comes, goes through the focal. The light ray goes through the center of curvature and goes with the principal axis, right? So ultimately, Puta, you will get what do we tell? Three light rays are mentioned here. No, this one is the first one. Light ray comes parallel and goes through the focal. The other one, a light ray goes through the focal, will be parallel to the principal axis. So එතනින්ම පුතා මෙතන මොකක්ද වෙන්නේ? You will have a intersection. So image is at the C itself only, but what is the speciality of this? Again, it is inverted. Make sense? So the height of the image is equal to the height of the object, but it is going to be an inverted real image. The next one is the object at a point beyond the center of curvature. Draw it by yourself. Make a balan නැතුව. Don't go to study this. You just have to know that you have an object after the center of curvature, beyond the center of curvature, and දන්න light rays ටික දාගෙන පින්තූරය ඇඳලා දෙන්න බලමු පුතා. Did you draw it, Puta?
I'm drawing it.
Okay.
So it's outside the center of curvature, right? The image, the object is.
Object is yes, beyond the center of curvature.
Okay.
So your first sketch should look something like this. මේක ඇඳගත්තා. ඔන්න object එක C එකටත් එහා. මෙතනින් වගේ පටන් ගන්න. Okay. Now start it. Did you draw it, Puta?
Yes.
Okay. You sent it to me? Okay, let me take this. Right, okay. Now the first things that I want to make change is Puta this here. The image, right? You should have drawn the object like this to the height where you're using the ray. If your object is here only, then your light ray should also be shorter. Make sense? ඒක ටච් කරගෙන ඉන්න පුතා යන්න ඕනේ. උඩින් යන්න බෑ. Make sense? That's the first thing. So what I will
Yes.
do first is, let me draw your image, object big. Okay. And what is the first thing, next thing that you are supposed to write? Object කියලා ලියන්න ඕනේ. OB කියලා හරි O කියලා හරි ලියන්න ඕනේ. Right, done. අන්න right ray එනවා parallelly nicely. Okay, ඔන්න F එක හරහා යනවා. Very good. Right, okay, done. Now the next ray. Next ray, how would you draw? The base of the object is on the principal axis, the base of the object. So the image base is always going to be on the principal axis only, always. So ඒක mark කරන්න, let me draw a black light ray. ඔන්න ඔහොම එන එක, right? ඔන්න ඔහොම එන එක. ඒක හරහම what would happen? It will get bounced back. ආපු එක මේක හරහම යනවා. Now, what is that you want another point to mark the, now base is okay, no? Base එක එන්නේ on the principal axis itself only. The base of the object, the base of the image. මේ point එක පුතා එන්නේ මේකේ උඩ කොහේ හරි තමයි. Right? But I should know where the head will come. නේද පුතා? So what will I do? I know if I mark this point and this point together, ඒ දෙක match කළාම, right? I will get another light ray. Understood? So let me draw that nicely with a different maybe yellow color. ඔය තියෙන්නේ පුතා. I know that the light ray that comes through the sea will go through the sea itself. Agreed?
Yes.
Okay, now let me draw that. sea එක හරහා ඔන්න ඔහොම ගිහිල්ලා bounce back වෙලා එනවා. හරි. Now what has happened? Can you see? I have an intersection. I have an intersection of the red ray. Red ray එක ඔයා අඳලා තියෙනක පේන්නනේ. Can you see පුතා? The red ray and the yellow ray එකෙන් intersection එකක් මට තියෙනවා form වෙලා. So I'll use the blue. Here is your image. What has happened to your image, Puta? Your image is shorter than the object, no? It's smaller now. So what kind of an image are you going to get from this? Your image is firstly inverted, upside down, no? Inverted. What else? Small. Real the මොකද්ද පුතා? Real the virtual the?
Real.
Real. Do you understand, Puta, how to get this?
Yes.
Okay. Any questions? No questions. Okay, so I also drew it. I'll show you my ray diagram. Any questions, Puta?
No.
No questions. Right. If the object is very far away from the mirror, not just beyond the sea, but very, 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 very far, right? What will happen, Puta? Since this image can be seen on a screen, it's a real image. So you are going to get a smaller object inverted. මේකෙම තවත් චූටි object එකක් පුතා. You see, than the curvature, than the center of curvature, when you have the object, you get a very tiny image, no? So if you're going to move it further away, right? Still, what's going to happen? You're going to get a very tiny image. Upright, sorry, inverted, real, tiny image එකක් ගන්න පුළුවන් වෙයි. Understood?
Yes.
Yeah. So බලන්න පුතා ඔන්න ඔය තියෙන්නේ. Everything what we learned is put in a tray, put in a table, right? So either you learn to draw this very well without confusion, or you have to memorize this table. Memorize කරන එකට වඩා පුතා මේක understand කරගත්තොත් how to draw the ray diagrams. If you can understand, then it's a win situation. Do you agree?
Yeah.
Okay, Puta. Any questions of today, Shafka, what we learned?
No.
No. Okay. So the next part is reflection of convex mirrors. Inshallah, we'll discuss it in the next class. Okay, Puta. Right?
Okay.
Now, your homework is going to be, I want you to redraw all these cases, Puta. Right? Without the help of the textbook. Object lesser than the focal, at the focal, greater than the focal, and in between the center of curvature, at the center of curvature, more than the center of curvature, and very far. ඔක්කොම ray diagrams 1 2 3 4 5 6ක් මට ඇඳලා දෙන්න ඕනේ. Understood, පුතා?
Yes.
Okay, okay. Then we'll call it a day. Take care. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.